Hey guys, it's Will with Fernerology, and we are doing a quick little video on what's sold on Facebook Marketplace. I do have about 6 items that I'm gonna show you guys. Just basic stuff I picked up, some that you can see in my haul videos, which I'll link a video somewhere right up here that you can click on if you want to take a look at the haul videos. And we also have other videos on what's sold on eBay and of course what's sold on Facebook, and then future what's sold on Amazon. So guys, let's go ahead and get on into it. As you can see, I'm kind of got a little messy room going on in my shipping room, and a little tired pup right there, and another little helper right on down there. Hello, Achilles. How you doing, buddy? How you doing, buddy? Yeah, he's happy. All right. So, that's it. Let's go ahead and dive right on into it, and let's see what's sold on Facebook. This is episode number 2. All right, guys. Let's go into the very first item for what's sold on Facebook. This is episode number 2. And the very first guy I picked up here is a vintage Paris antique. It's a vintage Paris souvenir antique. This is a metal piece, brass maybe. I'm not entirely sure on that. But I did pick this up at a local thrift store for $2. I just thought it was neat and something you just don't normally come across. That's kind of my thing when it comes to Facebook Marketplace, is I try to find things that are unique that I might be able to have a low investment in. Example, $2, $1, that sort of thing, and take a chance on it. Because one way or another, these little weird, for me it's weird, but these little oddities, pieces like this, they're going to sell whether it's on Facebook or eBay. But for some reason, these sell better on Facebook, at least out here in Kentucky. So this is the first item, and again, I bought it for $2 and sold it for 20. Of course, I got a bunch of offers, and I got a bunch of people saying, you take 15 or whatnot, and what's your lowest price? Which is, it's quite annoying on Facebook, but this is, the name of the game. Anytime you post anything on Facebook, they are going to ask you what your lowest price is, because you, right there, anything that you do, you're cutting money off immediately. So you tell them, oh, $10 on a $20 item, just expect that. So if you list this at 30 and you really want, you want 20, list at 30, 25, and say, yeah, sure, I'll give it to you for 20, and get what you want out of it, and at least see what happens and when it sells. Just know that when you get a lot of offers, the very first hour that you post this or first day, you got something going on, and don't take less. Just my 2 cents on that. But again, $2 investment turned into $20 is the first one. And moving on to item number 2. This is a lot of Hot Wheel and maybe some other brands, mainly Hot Wheel monster trucks, toy cars. And this is, if I remember correctly, it was about 48 cars in total. And I got this, and go through some photos here, an aerial shot, and they're in pretty good condition. There are a few that may have been broken or bent in the wheels, but not a bad little deal. These are die cast for the most part, and they have that metal body. The car itself might be plastic or whatnot, but the body, the little chassis of it is metal. So they're built pretty well. They should last a while. Now, I picked this up at a thrift store, and it was, oh, how much did I pay for it? I want to say, if I remember correctly, it was $9. It was somewhere between $7.99 and $9.99. I don't remember it entirely off the top of my head, but that's usually the max investment I'm going to take on big lots, and this is one of them. So I bought a few of these in the past, but again, this particular one, which had about 47, I took a gamble on, and turned that into $45, sold locally on Facebook Marketplace. Now, the one thing I did not realize, and it's hard to, it's somewhat hard, at least for me, because I'm usually stuffed up because of allergies, but I didn't smell this lot when I got it out of the thrift store, which is a Goodwill. It was in a bag that was taped, like a mattress bag, and it was taped, so I couldn't unzip it. And when I got it home, I opened it up and I can smell it was a little off, so a little bit of smoke smell. So what I did is threw in some dryer sheets into separate bags and let it sit for about 24 hours. And I Lysol everything and get everything nice and sanitized. And then that helped. It didn't help 100%, but again, the person knew what was going on and they bought it. And again, turned $9 or so into $45. Now let's go ahead and move on to the third one. And this is a motorcycle helmet for a Harley Davidson. Now this bad boy brand new was $250. I bought this brand new a long time ago, and it was too big. And with helmets, you can't return them after you open, tried them on and used them. And I used this for about a year, but I realized it was a little bit too big and bought a new one. Um, I wanted to make space, and I just sold this for $80 locally, and they bought it pretty fast. So I'm sure I could have gotten more, and I had other offers, but people were kind of lowballing me, and they're like, "Well, I can't. I don't have $80 right now. Would you take less?" I said, "Nope, not the moment. I'm gonna hold on to it." Because again, I had a $250 investment, so I didn't make any money on this. I just made some money back. Again, this was used for a year, and in a year of heat in the summer, I got my money's worth. So, I make sure with helmets, I put dryer sheets inside the helmets whenever I'm done using them, because the dryer sheets make it smell, keep it smelling good. So something, a little trick is to put dryer sheets in helmets, just to again make it smell good. And you could always wash the inside pads on some of these helmets. This is a modular helmet, and what that means is it has a way to see if it lifts up in the front, and then it has a sun visor built into it, which is awesome for the summer. You don't have to have your sunglasses with you. You have the clear section on the top, and you can move these sunglasses back and not use them, or use them both together. Either way, not a bad little deal. This is an extra large. I did say this was missing foam, so I had lost the foam here. I don't remember what I did with it. It's where the mouth foam would be. I think I took it out because it got really hot in the summer, and it was annoying me. But anyways, that sold for $80, and recouped some money on it. All right, let's move into the fourth item. And what we have here is something that you may have seen in one of my haul videos. This is a President George Washington commemorative picture, and it's weird. So I believe when I did the research on it, it's from 1976 or 70s, whatnot. It looks screen printed, basically on the on this picture, but it says, it's kind of in the old writing. It says Geo Woffington. They used to write the F's, used to be an S back in the day, and that's just how they did the script. But anyways, Geo Woffington. So George Washington, and it says live. I think it said long live the President of the United States. Again, it says President instead of President. I just thought it was a unique piece, and you can see by some of the designs, and it does have it had some like chipping at the bottom rim, and the free trade and sailor rights. Not bad. It was a nice looking piece. A little dirty on the inside, but this particular one, I paid about $2, and I got this sold for $20. And I had it listed higher, but there wasn't any bites on it, and somebody offered me 20, and I took it, and it worked out. And that was just a cool little piece to get. Probably wouldn't buy it again. I had it for a little longer than I wanted to, but just cool little piece. Now moving on to the next one. So this was off again one of my haul videos, which I cannot believe I found for the price that I found it for. But this is a Game Boy Micro, and it did come with a game. It did not have the power cord. I actually had one of these myself. Anytime I find a Nintendo power cord, I buy it. If it's $1 or $2, depending on what it is. If it's $3, like N64 cords, I will buy them because I come across the systems. Except for this guy, this is rare, but I usually come across the other systems and they never have anything with them. So it's always good to have some backups because the power cords alone go for a little bit of money and not a bad thing to keep a stock of. Now, this guy I paid $7.99 for at a local thrift store. So that's amazing in itself that I found this. And it's rare to ever come across the Game Boy Micro, which most of you are probably thinking, what in the world's a Game Boy Micro? I've never heard of it. It was one of those devices, I believe in the early 2000s that came out uh, between Game Boys, and it was one of the models that had a tiny little screen, but it was built well. It has like a metal chassis to it, a metal body with a plastic front plate that you can change out to different ones. I noticed that the ones with the design on the front have a higher price tag than the ones that are just plain solid colors. And I learned the hard way on this guy that I noticed the screen had some dust underneath the screen itself, and I went turned it around from the back end to show you a photo. I turned around from the back end and I went into it to try to clean it and then make sure everything was correct. And by the time I got to the screen, I realized that all I had to do is I did not have to take this completely apart. All I had to do is take this part, this faceplate off, and then clean the screen. Which unfortunately I learned that at the very end, but I did take this whole thing apart, and I ended up cleaning it, and kind of found out what's on the inside and what to look for, and check the battery and whatnot. It does have a battery that plugs in with a wire, so it's not just AA batteries or whatnot. Again, you always want to test everything and maybe clean what you can to make sure that it's sanitized and clicky. Those buttons have to be clicky when you sell it. Start menu, reset, or start and select, make sure they're clicky and that the screen's in pretty decent condition. They're probably going to have some micro scratches on the screen itself. That's just how it is with Game Boys. But you don't want breaks or anything that really takes away from gameplay. But again, guys, I found this for $7.99 and I flipped this into, I took a best offer of $100. So $100, I flipped it into $100. Something to look out for if you ever come across these. They will always sell. I guarantee they'll sell no less than $80. And I just happened to sell it locally because I didn't want to deal with people on eBay, which I was going to sell it on eBay if it didn't sell locally, but I figured it's a rarity and it was going to sell, and it did. It sold, I believe, within a day. So just something to keep in mind is a Game Boy Micro. It did come with a game, Magical Quest for Mickey and Minnie, which is probably not worth a darn thing, but it's always good to have a game because you want to make sure they can test it and see that it works with the system. All right, guys, let's move into the very last one of the day. This is the Super Nintendo from back in the day in the 90s. And yeah, I had this brand new when it came out. I had all the Nintendo systems, I believe, brand new when it came out. And I had quite a few of these Super Nintendos. This particular one I actually found at a thrift store. I also bought out a game store a while ago and had some extras. But this particular one I found at a thrift store with everything you see here, including Mario Kart, and it's yellow. Something that you can do with these systems, if You just take a look, you can see how yellow it is. But what you can do with these systems is you can retro bright. Something to Google is retro bright a game system. So you want it to go back to gray, which is kind of the color that you see around the controller port here. I didn't want to mess with it, and I paid $24 for this entire set, and I jumped on it because I found this and that Game Boy Micro at the exact same thrift store, and I almost didn't get it because, again, I have quite a few of these, but it came with the power cord, it came with the AV cord and a controller and the Super Mario game for 25 bucks. I could not pass that up. Uh, Brought it home, tested to make sure that it works, and that was it. I left it yellow. I did not want to retro bright it, but again, something you can do. I did it with Game Boys. They work out perfectly fine, and it's something I'm going to do with the other 4 Super Nintendo consoles I currently own. I'll probably retro bright those to get a little bit more out of it, but then again, I found this, 25 bucks, sold it on Facebook Marketplace for $100. Not a bad little flip. I did sell it during Christmas, so take that into account. It might have been a good quick sale because somebody was buying it for somebody else. But again, not bad. You can take a look at the photos, little aerial view. Super Mario Kart. This is player's choice, so that's not the original Mario Kart. It is not a repo, but I guess it's a reprint from Nintendo. It's an official game cartridge. It's just the player's choice award for a million seller game. So something to just note. But it sold, and this was the SNES 001 model. There is some research that can be done on Super Nintendos. I believe that there's a certain chip that had maybe higher power internally, and I forget which model number it is. Just something to look out for. I believe it's like SNES 006 or something along those lines, or maybe it's 02 or 3. I don't quite remember off the top of my head. But something to look into one way or another to find an entire Super Nintendo, and I show it with the red light showing that it works at least. In that, in that for that price, not a bad little flip. So something to look out for. Oh, I did. All right, I remember how I got 100 out of this because I added some games that I bought from that previous store that were just atrocious that I wasn't going to get rid of, and I added it to this system. So these games came with it as well. But again, just something to look out for, and and see if you find something like this. By all means, try to get it, try to flip it, and make a little bit of cash. But guys, that is it for What's Sold on Facebook. This is again episode number 2, and we will have more next week with a What's Sold on eBay. If you guys have any questions, just leave them in the comments below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And please subscribe to our channel. It does help us out. We are trying to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark so we can grow this channel and make it a little bit better for you guys. But guys, again, enjoy the week, and we will see you on the next one.